Hello, JCD90 here today, and I'm going to attempt a new type of video which is going to be my thoughts on a particular topic. The topic, as the video title states, is why I think Hitman Absolution may not turn out to be a true Hitman experience. As any Hitman fan awaiting the next title, I was initially pleased when the announcement trailer showed up on the internet. Of course, immediately after this, my initial instinct was to look up information about the game just to learn more about the overall elements. This is when I found out the following. Number one, David Bateson is no longer going to be the voice of Agent 47. This already is enough to send people raging. Number two, Vivian McKee, the voice of Diana, is not returning. And number three, and this is a real big deal breaker for a lot of people, is that Jesper Kyd is not going to be composing the music of Hitman Absolution. And as of today, based on the gameplay I've just seen, it leads me to believe that Absolution won't be a true Hitman game due to more of an emphasis on action rather than stealth, patience, and exploration of levels. At this point, the next obvious step is to immediately down the game and say it's not going to be a true Hitman game whatsoever. Instead, I just want to wait until I have more information to make up my final opinion on it all. Now, I'm not saying it won't be, I'm saying it may not be. As of now, I haven't made up my mind on how it's going to turn out, because I don't really know how it's going to turn out, but I just have this bad feeling, and I wanted to display my thoughts on it. What I'm going towards here is that I don't think the new elements introduced are going to fit in properly with the established elements. As you've seen, the Hitman games, as they went on, they kept introducing new ideas and new gameplay elements that felt to fit in right. Like, for example, like in Hitman Blood Money, they introduced how you could hide bodies and remove surveillance footage to decrease your notoriety level, which would carry out through the whole game. So based on your notoriety, it would cause guards in later levels to be more suspicious of you if you were very sloppy in the previous missions and you caused the scene. This would carry on to the later levels. So it was elements like that didn't seem out of place. They seemed to fit in perfectly and make the game even better. But I mean, new elements like X-ray vision. Oh, you can see through walls and you can see guards' patrol routes. I don't know how well that'll work out. I did, however, like the idea of when he uses in one of the gameplay videos, he uses a donut because he's disguised as a police officer. He eats a donut and he uses it to kind of conceal his face, and that is a cool idea. But it's like it's a small thing in a sea of things that don't seem to appeal to me right now. So the problem is that instead of delivering a game that can please the fans, as well as bringing new audiences, this installment may not have enough to make it feel like a true Hitman game. And once you factor in the possibility of the levels being too linear, too linear in comparison with the previous levels of the previous Hitman games, some of them were really big and had you exploring environments to find multiple ways of getting at your target, or overall some of the environments were really beautiful and you just wanted to have a look around just for the sake of seeing stuff. So the levels may be too linear in favor of a more cinematic experience, and gameplay might be too easy, so you can get more people to pick up the game and you'd have the game selling more. So as of today, the new trailer that I've seen today, which I will link below, and the videos which they posted before with motion captured actors who are like they're voice actors and they're motion captured, so it's like a it's like they're filming an interactive movie in some ways. And my points, which I mentioned before about, Bateson, McKee, and Jesper Kyd, I'm beginning to really worry about the final game. I mean, like I said, I'm not at the point yet where I'm going, oh, fuck this game, I don't care about it. I really do want it to be a proper game. And what I'm hoping for is something like Deus Ex Human Revolution or GoldenEye, which was not GoldenEye N64, the GoldenEye on the Wii, or GoldenEye Reloaded, which they were modernizations of the classic formula, but they were able to please old fans and newcomers, I feel, in the long run, because they introduced new elements without disturbing the established elements. The established elements that were established by previous titles. So, more or less, I hope I covered my thoughts on the topic, and I hope I didn't go on too long about the whole thing. Finally, I ask, what are your thoughts on the whole thing? I know more or less there's like perhaps multiple groups. There's like people who are immediately saying, there's immediately a comment on that video of the latest introducing Agent 47, where somebody immediately says this is not a Hitman game, and I'm not going to that side yet, okay? Because if you look at it, if you want to play a third-person shooter, a third-person cover shooter, not only do you have like Uncharted, Gears of War, those are like the popular ones. I mean, you already have a third-person shooter series by IO Interactive themselves, which is Kane and Lynch. Granted, it isn't great, but for your shooting, you go to Kane and Lynch. For your stealthing, you go to Hitman. So, I don't know. Maybe they want to make a shooter, but since Kane and Lynch isn't working out for them, they're gonna make a shooter and plaster the Hitman name on it. Like, think along the lines of Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. If it was just Operation Raccoon City, how well would it have sold versus Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City? That's basically the gist of it. So there's either that group that's going to be damning the game, there's either that group that's give it a chance, wait and see how it turns out. I'm part of the wait and see how it turns out group. And there's also the people who are like, oh, this looks awesome, it's going to be the best game of 2012. But this last group is like, they show up with every game that looks like it's going to be a AAA title, and ultimately they're either overall impressed or very disappointed. Anyways, so yeah, that wraps up my thoughts on the whole thing. I went on a bit longer than I should have, so yeah, sorry if I went on way too long. Thank you for your time, and again I ask, what are your thoughts on the whole thing? What do you think? You think Hitman Absolution is going to be a proper Hitman game, or is it going to be just a up in your face Hitman, action game, or more along the lines of something like Splinter Cell Conviction, where it's not really, it just ditches what made the franchise so special. So yeah, that about wraps it up.